everybody. I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving break or a happy Thanksgiving if you happen to be watching this on Thanksgiving Day. And yes, also my puppy's here. You might hear her in the background a little bit. I'm really sorry about that. But hopefully she'll be quiet for most of it. Okay, so to get started, if you feel very anxious or nervous and unsure about learning Jingle Bells, then I suggest watching the review video on the violin first to memorize how to play the violin strings and which fingers play which notes. And if you're all ready for that and you feel like you're ready to take on the challenge of learning Jingle Bells, then I have it all written out here on the board for us. But if you don't want to look at the board while I'm playing, then we are in our Sound Innovations book. Our Sound Innovations book on page 11. Right now I have all the fingerings in. I suggest pausing the video right now and taking the time to go ahead and write in all the fingerings for every measure. Okay, so I'll give you a second to do that. You can go ahead and just pause it. Okay, and now that you've done that, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go measure by measure pretty slowly for everybody, okay? So starting on measure 1, we have a 2 on our D string. So that's going to be the note F sharp. So on our D string, we have finger 1 and finger 2. Both fingers should be down for this. Okay. So we're going to be counting. I'm going to start it a little slower for us so that we don't feel overwhelmed by learning these notes. Okay. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and rest. So let's do that first measure. I'll count off 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and rest. Good. That's the next measure is going to have that same counting and also the same fingering. It's going to be an F sharp again. So a 2 on our D string. So 1 and 2 and 3 and rest. Let's also do that. So ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and rest. Okay. And since measure 1 and 2 repeat the same notes, we're not changing the fingering at all. We're not moving our fingers. Let's just keep the finger on the string and let's play these two measures together. Counting together. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. Rest. Good. Now we're going on to measure 3. This is going to be a little more difficult because we're going to be changing from an open A to an open D string. So we have the first note, F sharp, which is a 2 on our D string. It's the note we just left off. So 2 on our D string. Then we have our open A. Then it goes back to open D. And then we have the note E. Remember, you add a first finger on your D string. So I'll go over that again. F sharp, so 2 on our D string. Open A, no fingers down. Then going over to open D. Stay on the D string. And then just put one finger down for our note E. So I'll play that right quick for you. You can play with me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and good. Let's try doing that again. Since this is a measure that's a little more difficult since it's changing, I'm gonna play it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and good. So now that we've done measures 1, 2, and 3, we're going to play measures 1, 2, and 3 together. Hey. So let's play measures 1, 2, and 3 together. Ready? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. Rest. Perfect. Now, the next note we have, again, just like we saw in measures 1 and 2, is an F sharp. So this is a 2 on our D string again. Oops, sorry, let me get to the D string. A 2 on our D string. And then we have 3 rest. So it'll be 1 and rest, rest, rest. Okay? And since this is a little bit of a more complicated measure, I'm just going to go ahead and throw these 2 measures together, because since we're only playing one note right here. Okay? So I'm going to count off here, and we're going to start here and play this note as well. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest, rest, rest. We're almost done with line 1. We're getting there. Okay? Now we have a new note that we haven't played yet at all. This is our 3rd finger on our D string. This is a G. We have 4 G's, 4 chord notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And to play a G on our D string, so we're on our D string. That's the string next to the thickest string, next to our G. This one's the D. We put all 3 fingers should be down. All 3. Okay? To play the note G. So let me count that off. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Perfect. And I know it's really tempting to go on to the next G that's in this next measure, but we'll get there, I promise. So now, let's try and play all of line 1. Okay, ready? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Rest. 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 Great. Okay. Now that we've made it all the way through line 1, let's try going on to line 2. Because I'm pretty sure we can do it. Because it's not too much harder than line 1 at all. Now we are on line 2. We have our 3rd finger G on our D string, and then the next note is a 2, which is an F sharp. We're staying on that on our D string and playing our 2nd finger to play an F sharp. So this is how these are the notes. So we have 3 for a G, lift that 3rd finger, and then you have a 2 for F sharp. Let's play that together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. Then we're going on to our next measure. We have an F sharp again, so that's 2. And we have E, E, so that's the 1st finger on our D string, and back to 2, back to the F sharp. So F sharp, E, E, F sharp, and this is all on our D string, so make sure to stay on the D string here. I'll play that measure by itself, and we can play it together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. Okay, now since we've learned these 2 measures, let's play these 2 measures together. Ready? I'll count off again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we have our next measure. This one's a little different, but it's not any notes that we haven't learned before. So we have 1st finger E on our D string, then we have rest, and then we go over to the open A string, so no fingers down, and then another rest. So E, rest, A, rest. Okay, let's play that one together, and I'll play just this measure by itself since it has the rest in between the notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Rest, rest. Okay, now let's try playing these measures together right here. All 3 of these measures. Ready? Here we go. Counting off again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. rest, rest. Perfect. Let's go ahead and learn the rest of line 2, which we're almost done right here. So we have, again, our F sharp, our rest, F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, rest. So all of this measure right here is all on our D string. So we don't change off the D string. So we left off on our A string, so we have to rock back over to our D string. And remember, that's just slightly lifting your elbow. You don't have to pick your whole arm up to do it. Just lift the elbow slightly to rock over to that D string. Let's go ahead and play these two measures together, because this is the same as measure 1 and 2. So this one should be pretty easy for us to play together. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. Rest. Good. So now let's play all of measures 1. Let's play all of line 2 all the way together since we've learned all of that. And then we're going to combine lines 1 and 2 together. Okay? So let's just start here on line 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now back to the beginning. We're going to play lines 1 and 2 all the way through with no stops. With only, of course, the stops for the rest, but no extra added stops in there. I'm sorry you can't see my face in this video, but that's okay. The most important stuff is on the board right here. Ready? Starting from measure 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest. Rest. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest. 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 Good. I'm sorry, I was kind of in the image there, but hopefully you're still able to follow along to it. So yay, we've made it through lines 1 and 2. You're getting there, we're almost done. Now we just have our last line to play through. And this one, we have some of the newer notes that we learned, which is our G down here, but I think we can do it. We got this. So let's start with the first measure of line 3, so right here. So we have an F sharp, so this is a 2 on our D string. Then we rock over, lower the elbow just a little bit to open A, then back to our open D, so rock the elbow back up onto the D string, then stay on the D string and put a first finger down for the note E. So how that looks is we have 2, open A, so onto the string, back to open D, and then put your first finger down for E on the D string, okay? I'll play that and we can play it together. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and perfect. Good. Now we're going on to measure 2 of line 3 right here. And this is just same thing. We left off on our D string with an E. Now just add that second finger on, stay on that D string to play the note F sharp. Remember? So we have an F sharp, so on our D string. Oh, sorry. So playing an F sharp, 2 fingers down. Okay. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and rest, rest. Good. Now let's play measures 1 and 2 of line 3 right here. Just these 2 measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're almost there. We're making it to the end. Let's look at our next 2 measures. Well, actually, I'll go 1 measure at a time. So let's look at measure 3 of line 3. We're back to our G. So we left off on the D string. Stay on that D string. Do not move yet. We're going to put all 3 fingers down on our D string. All 3 fingers down together. Okay? Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. Then we're going on to our next measure. We're still on our D string. All of these notes right here. And measure 4 of line 3 are all on the D string. We have a 3 for a G. Then we have a 2 for F sharp. Ready? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. Then we're on to our next measure. We're almost there. We're getting there. Almost to the end. We have our open A. So we left off on our D string with a 2. Now we lift all of our fingers and then rock over from the D, lowering the elbow just a little bit to rock over to our A. We have 2 open A's, A. Then we rock back over to our D string, put all 3 fingers down. Just pop them down. Good. And then we have first finger E. So it's open A, rock over to the D string, put all 3 fingers down for the note G, and then just leave 1 finger down for the note E. Okay, so let's play that together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then we have 1 more note left, and then we've learned it all. You did it. Okay, so our last note. This is an easy note. Plus, it's the end. We just have no fingers down, just an open D. So this is pretty easy. We'll know this one. So ready? We just left off on our open D with a first finger E. We just lift the fingers up, no fingers down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alrighty. So now let's play all of line 3 together, and then let's see if we can combine it all. So ready? I'll start off on the beginning of this first measure of line 3. We'll play all the way through to the end right here. And I'll try to get out of the way of the screen. So ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Rest, rest, rest. Yay, you did it. Sorry, I was covering up the last note D, but hopefully you're still able to follow along. So now that we've learned all of Jingle Bells, let's see if we can play all the way through to the end. And if there's any parts that you find you're struggling with, I suggest rewinding the video back and finding that part that you struggled with and just practicing that over and over again. And then once you get really good at that, then come back and see if you can play it all the way through. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start there. From the very beginning and play it all the way through. Ready? So, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Rest. Rest. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, rest. Right, see, you did it. You learned all of Jingle Bells, and it wasn't too hard, and I'm really proud of y'all. And I hope you have a great rest of your break, and I'll see you again in class. Bye.